Hello friends and welcome back to another video, another tips and tricks video. And in this one, we're going to make a simple mobile menu, a hamburger menu. So this is requested by one of you guys and I appreciate the comment and the suggestion. And I want to thank you all for your views, subscribes and likes and comments. So let's get started. I have my HTML document with Google font brought in from Google Fonts website. I have the Font Awesome CDN from CDN.js, and I have my the CSS file document linked, but there's nothing in it at the moment. So let's just start with the HTML. All we need is a nav for starter to wrap around everything, and within that I will have a div with a class of NavBar. Within that, I will have an A tag that goes nowhere, and it will contain my logo with the alt logo, and I'm going to give it a width of 30 because it's quite big. So on the other side of it, we will have a button, so a btn or button, and this will contain the icon from Font Awesome. So Font Awesome has these free icons you can get, and I'm choosing these bars. All we need is this class. Actually, we don't need the whole element, but I'm going to copy it and just paste it down here. I'm going to cut the class, add it to my button, and we're good. So if I save it now, going back to the project, you can see the bars in the button. So let's style this one before we move any further. The first thing I want to do, I want to reset my CSS by giving padding 0, not 2 zeros, margin 0, and box sizing, border box. Let's add, okay, I'm going to leave it as it is because I'm going to add body and target the body, give it the font family of Poppins and sans serif. I'm going to give it a padding, okay, padding top. I'm going to give it 60 pixel from the top, and I explain this why. Let's say 15 and 15 and 15. The only reason I want to give it a padding top because when this actually becomes a fixed, the menu becomes fixed. And if this is fixed, the content will go behind it, and I will change this. I just as an initial value, I put it at 60. I can in fact just put it at 20. Okay, that's better. So let's target the nav bar, and let's give it a background first, so we know where we are working. Okay, so you can see right now, because it's not fixed yet, we can't really, it doesn't go all the way across. So let's do it. I'm going to give it a position fixed. So top 0, left 0, and right 0. So that's it. That's my menu. And you can see the content is going behind. That's why I was talking about this. So let's give it 40. I think that's good. I think for now it's good. You can play around. This is not important, at least not now. Let's give it some padding, 10 pixel from top and bottom and 15 left and right. So you can see I'm going back to my 60. Anyway, I'm zoomed in here, by the way. If I didn't say it, I'm zoomed in to 100%. So, okay, so the nav bar should have a display of flex, and then the justified content should be a space between, and the align item should be center. There we go. What else we want? I think for now we're good. I'm just going to change the color from that red to something else. So I'm using Tailwind colors and this slate category, which I like. I'm going to use something light. So slate 100, which is this value in hexadecimal. There we go. It's kind of bluish. So within the navbar, we have an A, which was the image, right? So this A tag. All I want to do, first of all, this has a bit of a tiny space underneath it, and I'm going to use flex to get rid of it. There we go, it's gone. And give it a border radius of 10 pixel. There we go. We can't see it again. As usual, we give it overflow hidden. That's it. That's the logo. Usually when you click on it, it goes into the home page. Now let's target the button on the other side. We are going to say border. Should we give it a border? No. We're going to remove the border. We are going to give it a background of, I will try to get that blue. So going back to Tailwind, and we have these blue colors. Let's choose this. Okay, this one, blue 500. That's fine. So color should be white. There we go. Width 30 pixel, height 30 pixel. And again, border radius 10 pixel. Are we good? I think we're good. I think that's good for now. Just for fun, let's add outline, I think. Outline, say 1 pixel solid white, and outline offset, let's say 5 pixel. Let's see what happens. It goes outside. I want it to go inside. So I'm trying to get something fun out of this. There we go. So with outline and give it an offset, you can create something like that. Now you can play around with this one just to see, you know, there we go. I'm quite happy with that, just for fun. You can see I spend a lot of hours just playing around with CSS. Anyway, I'm going to leave it as it is. So I'm done with the nav. In fact, oh, sorry. Don't forget to give it a cursor pointer. I don't want to give it any hover effect. I don't really mind. So I just want to give a shadow to the container. And again, I'm going to Tailwind. I love Tailwind. I'm going to use this shadow MD, and I'm going to copy the CSS code and add it to the NavContainer, NavBar. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to the HTML. Let's add the container. So I'm gonna add a nav-container, and within that, I will just have a few A tags. Let's say about I don't know what these should be. For example, portfolio. All right, services and contact, just for fun. Okay, and now let's target this one in CSS. So down here, sorry, don't forget the dot. All right, this also has to be position fixed, right? So position fixed. Let's give it a background first. I want to see where I work. So position fixed, it should start from the right 15 pixel. The 15 pixel comes from the padding which we gave to the container, to the nav bar. And I just want it to be aligned to there, to that area. Let's see. I'm going to give it padding all around 15 pixel. Border radius 10 pixel, of course, just like the others. The color of the text within it should be white. And I need to say, oh, this has to go on the, why doesn't it work here? That's okay. It has to go on the A tag, so I'm going to remove it from here for now. Let's target the A tags. I will come back to this in a second. So color white, text decoration and none, display block because we want him to go all the way across. Let's give it a BG of yellow. I want to see how it looks. So margin from top and bottom maybe 10 pixel and 0 left and right. So what else? Let's see. I can't see what's going on there. Padding. Should I give it a padding? Maybe 5 pixel, top and bottom, 10 pixel, left and right, maybe 15, and border radius 5 pixel. There we go. Now the background of the container is the same as the nav container, so I'm going to grab that one. There we go. Oh, that actually gives me the suggestions. Why am I doing it? And these ones, I'm just going to make it a slightly darker. So it was 100. I'm going to go to 200. So instead of black, nope, there we go. Yikes. So I need to change the text, the color, to this instead of white. There we go. In fact, I want that color for the whole body text. There we go. So let's see if I remove it from here, would it make a difference? Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. Maybe even more margin the top and bottom of these items. Anyway, so going back to the container, we are going to say from the top, it also should have a fixed position. 70 is good. 65, that's good. So we can play again, you can have the same background as this menu all over this, for example, just for fun. Anyway, we're gonna keep it as it is, and we're gonna talk about the JavaScript side of it for now, and we're gonna switch back and forth. So I don't want to become too obsessed with the CSS. Let's go back to the HTML. First thing, we want to give ID to these items, to these elements. The the menu button should have an ID of nav btn. Sorry, btn. And the container should have nav container. And I'm going to use a script source. So I'm going to add external file. I'm going to call it a script. Dang it, a script.js. Okay, and here is script source script.js. Okay, let's go back there. Just want to keep it clean. I could have used it in the same, the same HTML. So we're gonna target nav. We're gonna select nav btn by saying document.query selector, and the ID was nav-btn. The same thing goes for NavContainer. Yeah, so NavContainer and NavBTN. So the first thing I want to do, I just want to select the nav button, which is that blue button up there, and add an event listener to it. Listen for the click, and pass in the function as with an arrow function, or you can just if you're comfortable by doing the traditional way, you can do function that way. So either way works. So we're going to say function. So just log in the console something. So let's open the console down here. And if I click on this one, you can see it works. All right, I'm going to close it. What we want to do, we want to make this menu appear actually. So this has to be hidden at first and then appear by clicking on that one. Let's go back to the CSS for a second. I want to apply this box shadow to the container. There we go. I forgot to do that. So again, we want this to be hidden at first and then it will appear. So we're going to actually create an appear class. We can call it whatever we want, but this right position should come in here. But I'm going to add transition to this container because I don't want it to be a snappy, of course. 0.2 seconds or 2 milliseconds, and then it's going to be linear. So at first, the right position should be minus 150 pixel. So it goes all the way out. And then when you click on it, this appear class should come in and it should be important. I'm using the flag important to make sure this will override this right value or property. So going back to JavaScript, I want to say select the nav container, go to the class list and toggle. So remove or add. What did I call it? Appear. Toggle that class. So toggle, if it's there, it will remove it. If it's not there, it will add it. So let's do it. Yep, it's already working. So we could even use the opacity, but right now I don't think it's necessary. We could say opacity 0, and then it will be, 1 when we add it here. So far so good. I don't need the opacity. What I want to do actually, I want to add a background, like a blurry background. So when the menu is open, this should come in and cover the content of this website. So give the focus to the menu. Let's do it in the index HTML. So in the file, in the HTML document, I'm going to add another div with the class of blurry. You can call it whatever you want. I just chose this name. And in the CSS file, we're going to target that, and this is going to have a position fixed as usual, because these are all fixed positions. And this will have a top 0 and right 0, bottom 0, and left 0. So it will stretch all the way. So background, let's choose, I'm going to choose something with alpha. It has to have alpha. So we're going to choose something dark bluish, like, I don't know, like this maybe. We'll see how it works. Oh, why is it? This will work. I'm going to keep it as it is. I was going to use RGBA, but this will work too. And give it a backdrop filter of blur 5 pixel. All right, that it is. Right now it's on top of even the menu, which we don't want. So we can use, we can use the index. We're going to give 10 to this one and 11 to the other ones. So to the container, 11, and to the navbar itself, 11. There we go. There it is. And of course, this has to, be removed when the menu is closed. And we will, again, target that with JavaScript. So back in JavaScript, we are going to first select that blurry background. I just called it blurry, and this had a class of blurry, so with a dot. Now I want to say, when I click on it, make sure the menu works. Now I want to say we have to provide an if here. So we want to say if the NavContainer class list appear. So we're going to repeat this here, but instead of toggle, we want to check if it contains the appear class. So if the navigation contains this class, which means it's on the page, it's visible, then remove the blurry. So we're going to say the blurry background should be display this, style dot display should be none. Okay, that works. And in fact, initially it should be display none. So back to the CSS, and we're going to say display none. We cannot use opacity 1 because you can see right now I'm interacting with the content, right? Let me comment this out for a second and set the opacity of this to 0, which means again we can't see it, right? But it's there. You can see I cannot interact with these because this is because of the Z index. But you can see because, let me refresh, the opacity doesn't remove the item. It just makes it invisible. All right, so that's why we're using display none. So there we go. Actually, we're saying if the nav container is open, then the display should be blocked because we want to cover everything. There we go. Now we want to say else. So otherwise, make it the opposite way, right? So now we can say none. There we go. So now it's working. I mean, the color is kind of cheesy, but you can play around with it. All right, but it will bring the focus to the menu. That's quite nice. So the next thing we need to work on is this icon. You can see it remains that bars. We want to change it to an X mark. So all we have to do again with the JavaScript, change the class of FA bars. This is part of Font Awesome. These classes, I didn't provide them, but Font Awesome has these classes. And if we search for an X, You can see, for example, this one has FAX mark. So all we have to do, remove this one and add the other one when the menu is open. Back to JS. So we're saying if the menu is open, this should appear. Also, the nav button, we could use the this keyword, but I'm going to use it simple. Class list that remove, so remove that FA bars, but then add X mark. Does it make sense? So as I click on this one, the X marks comes and this will appear. Now, I didn't say the other way. So all we have to do, just copy these and come here and just, reverse it. So add the FA bars, remove the FA X mark. So far, it's working as we want. Let's add some more content just to see when we scroll what happens. So I'm going to add a div and a p tag with a lorem of 1,000 word. And I'm going to actually close it because I don't want it to be this. This is annoying. So you can see right now I can scroll, and because position is fixed, the menu sticks up there. And even if it's open, I can scroll, but you can see the focus is on the menu. I cannot do anything else. The other thing I want to add, which is actually I already addressed in my another video, in the short video, how to click outside of the box of the container and close the menu. Right now, the only way to close it is to click on this. So this is also easy. Let's do it. We want to add an event listener to the document itself. So we want to say anywhere but the container. So let's say document, add event listener. And of course, again, listen for a click. And this time, I want to pass in a function that accepts the parameter E, which is short for event. So listen for the event and give me that event. So let's target that event, see what we get. So let me open the console down here and let me zoom in. As you can see, when I click on the page, it gives me the object of the target. I want of the event. I want the target, so I want to see where I'm clicking. Right now I'm clicking on the P tag. If I click here, it's the body, the image, so it gives me what I want, right? Now, what is going to happen here? We're going to say that we want to say if the click, which is this E, right? If the click is not on this menu, then close it, right? So let's do that. For that, we have to say, go to the nav container, and if it contains any item that I'm clicking on, so we're saying anything we're clicking, if it contains the menu or the nav container, all right, if it contains that one, then close the menu, which means do this. Okay, well, actually, let's just do it step by step. We just want to say that the nav container appear should be removed. And now, if I click on this one, it works. But if I click outside, it doesn't, because we're saying if I click on anything within the nav items. So of course, if I click within, it will close it. Now we want the opposite way, right? So all we have to do, we have to negate this if condition by providing an exclamation mark. And if I save it, it works, but there's another problem now. Because we're saying anywhere I click that is not, so this is the not, that is not within the container, that means this button too. So therefore it doesn't work because this is outside the container. So all we have to do here now, provide an and so we are saying another condition. So the click is not on the container and the target, so the click again, whatever we are clicking, the either target is not the nav button. So that button that we are clicking. If these two conditions evaluate to true, then delete the menu. That means the menu is open, so delete it. So if I click on this one, it will open it, and if I click outside, it closes it. Don't worry about the blurry. I will fix that in a second. Just like this, we can just do this. Just come here and say that. There we go. So right now the toggle works as we want. Let me remove this console and close the console. Remove the console, close the console. So right now the button works, right? Now if I click on the menu, it will go to the links probably, but it doesn't close it. That's what we want. If I click outside, it closes it and the blurry background is gone, right? This is what we want. Exactly what we want. And again, to explain what's happening, I have a short video explaining about this, which is linked in the description. Now, the only thing we have to still address is this. Because this logic is only on the click on the button, it's not here, we can just copy it and put it here. So we want to say when the menu is open, make sure you copy these and put it here. And now even if I click outside, this will work. So since we want to follow the dry principle, so do not repeat yourself, I'm going to create a function here, call it menu is closed, right? And copy these the places where I'm repeating myself. Right now, these 3 lines is being repeated. I'm going to add it here. So you can see blurry style display. All right, nav, yada, 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 yada. So instead of these 2 places, I'm just going to copy menu. Instead of these 3 lines, I'm going to add that function. And also here. The other one is we can also do it function menu is open and add these, even though it's not necessary because it's just one, but just because keep the code clean, right? So we have, I just kind of refactored the code. That's all I did. But at least I'm not repeating myself here 2 times. So I have 2 functions, which one, when the menu is open, these will execute. When the menu is closed, these will execute. And it still works as we want. And that's it, guys. And again, if you scroll, there it is. So that's it really. And this was the JavaScript part. This is the CSS. The code will be in a GitHub repo, and the link will be in the description or as a comment. I will add it as a comment. Okay, guys, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this has been helpful. So don't forget to like and subscribe, please, and don't hesitate to comment with your suggestions if you want me to do other videos. If I can do it, I will absolutely do it, and I'd be happy to. And I am working on a JavaScript video, the basics of JavaScript, especially how to manipulate the DOM or the objects on the HTML page. So stay tuned. See you at the next one. Bye-bye.